Hello and welcome to Bag Only, an inventory-only Ultimate Ironman account on Oldschool Runescape. In this series I will be restricted to my 28 bag slots with no additional storage allowed. This means no containers that I can transfer items into and out of, such as the looting bag or the rune pouch, as well as no death piles or item retrieval services like Zulrah or Vorkath. Along with having no bank, I will also be unable to use the costume room, clue scroll stashes, or any other interface or NPC that allows item storage. The only exceptions will be quests where I have absolutely no other choice. Basically, I will have to lug my gear, supplies, and quest items with me at all times, or risk them despawning on the ground. The ultimate goal here is the quest cape, so with that, let's get into it. Dude, are you actually joking me? Guys, this is the task just after Worms. We've got ourselves 65 Slayer, and we've got our second Smouldering Stone on the account. I don't know what to do with this RNG. Again, these are 1 in 32,000, and we've had 2. We've done maybe 4 Hellhound tasks in total. So, I mean, I can't complain because the value of these is like 6 mil, so I'll probably drop trade this again for bond money, but like... It's... what? Hey everyone, welcome back to Bag Only. If you remember in the last episode, we finally got ourselves a rune crossbow, an imbued slayer helm, and also a bonus piece of black D-hide, so we're looking kinda good in the range DPS department. So this episode's going to be largely focused on just doing slayer, probably going to be ranging a lot of the tasks because safe spotting is really nice for an account like ours, saves a bunch of time in gathering supplies multiple times per task, but also we'll be probably doing some like proselyte melee tasks as well, just because obviously some tasks are just better to melee. Don't know how many quests we'll end up doing in this episode, but I guess we'll see. Just really want to tear into some Slayer now. I've been itching to do it for ages. Going to get to at least 69 for Monkey Madness 2, which is the highest level you need for any quest. But chances are we'll go to 75 because I really love gargoyles. So let's see what happens. Anyway, at the minute I'm doing Dagonoths. Now there are some Dagonoths in the Catacombs of Karen, so what I'm going to do is attempt, and emphasis on attempt, to try a burst task. Now of course we don't have any mage gear, which is going to be an issue, so I'll probably go grab some monk's robes, but I'm just going to go nip to the desert, go to Damis, or whatever the guy was called, Eblis, from Desert Treasure the other day, and buy his ancient staff. It's 80k, so we can just about afford it, and then buy a couple of runes, and then I'll head over to the Catacombs and just see if it's possible to stack these guys up and AoE them, get the task over a bit quicker, and push our mage a bit higher, because obviously it is a little bit low compared to the 75 that we need. It would also be nice to get our mage up to 72, just so we can do the reanimate heads without a boost, because Dagonoth heads are included in that, as well as I think Bloodfeld heads and Hellhound heads, so quite common ones that we're getting at this Slayer level. So I'll get all that stuff together. Also a note, I did make a second portal in our brand new portal room. We've got one that goes to Lunar Isle after Lunar Diplomacy, but I also boosted and made another one over to Waterbirth Island, which puts you right next to a spawn of loads of snape grass, so we can very easily make prayer pots. If we do come across some Ranars, just teleport through that portal and we've got the secondaries right there on the ground, so that's really good as well. So yeah, see you guys in the Catacombs in 1 sec. Right guys, we're here. That was expensive and time consuming, but we're sort of semi-prepped. I've only got 85 bronze knives, but hopefully with the accumulator that'll be enough for the task of 124 of these Dagonoths. Then we've just brought 400 casts of Smoke Burst. I don't know, could have gone with Ice Burst, but I'm not sure if we want to freeze them. It might be easier to stack them with Smoke Burst, but this is all kind of a research mission. I'm hoping all these guys only attack with melee as well, because if they start ranging us, then that's going to be a bit of a problem. And speaking of problems, we also have to find ourselves a free world. So let's give this a go. Did get the monk's robes, got a couple of prayer pots on us. So hopefully we can just grab all these guys. I mean, really, we could pick them up using the spell itself, because it's not going to freeze them like Ice Burst would. And then I guess we can just try stacking them here. I don't know if this will work. Let's have a go. I feel like it's not going particularly well since there's only 3 of them stacked on top of each other. I thought normally when you walk through them it's supposed to make them, you know, like ethereal so other ones can step through, but I'll keep playing with this. I'll try and find a good spot, and then regardless we'll do the task here because this is a Steve task, so we're not limited to a specific dungeon to kill these Dagonoths in, which is nice. Just had to find some weird angles like this to stack as many of them as we can. Now these guys do drop insult heads, as you can see I've got one already because we did a couple of these Dagonoths in the lighthouse before I decided to come try them here. They also drop a bunch of nice seeds. I guess snapdragon seeds or torstal seeds or whatever. I only want seeds that we're actively going to be able to use or that give us the highest level herbs that we can clean for our current herb lore level. So 2 Qualm Seeds already, that's really, really good because we already have some in our invent. And next level we can start making super strength parts. We could actually do them now with a Botanical Pie boost. So that'll be really nice for training. If we plant all these, get like, I don't know, if they all survive, maybe like 40 Qualms, that'll be a nice bit of Herblore XP. There's our first med clue, so let's give that a go. Nothing really we want from mediums. I mean, I guess Ranger Boots would be nice, or maybe even like the Mage Boots or the Manacles, really. But aside from those, like, you tend to get like Addy equipment from mediums, and that's not really something we particularly need. And obviously, without the ability to store uniques, there's not really much else that we want to go for. So yeah, guys, I'll just truck through this task as best I can. As you can see, this spell is also poisoning them, so that's kind of helpful as well. Hopefully we get a mage level at least, and then hopefully we get some decent alchable dropping tasks in between burst tasks like this, just so we can afford to pay for the runes. More than halfway towards that 66 Slayer, so maybe we'll get some Wyverns or something coming up. Still not had a Dust Devil task, but I've only done about 2 tasks since hitting 65, so guess it's not too unexpected to have not seen those yet. Task complete, that was kind of quick. It was only like, what, 20 minutes or something to get 12,600 Slayer XP, so pretty nice all in all. Got ourselves 12 Slayer points, and we only lost like 350k coins. But we did get ourselves 5 Dagonoth heads, so I'm just going to run down to Yanil, grab whatever the runes are to reanimate those, and then go get, I think it'll be like 6k prayer XP, so that's kind of nice. We will have to go swap our spellbook, but that's okay, we can go do that over in Arceus itself. It's actually a lot easier to swap back from the Desert Spellbook by going over to Arceus, swapping to Arceus, then swapping back to normal, as opposed to going all the way to the desert and swapping our spellbook back at the pyramid. But that's okay, so what we'll do real quick here is just sell off the remainder of these runes just to make some space. See, we can't because Iron people have the worst game mode possible. Can't sell things to a shop if someone's just come and used the shop. So that's really fun. So I'll just have a look what the runes are for these installed heads, go do them, and then we'll go immediately grab our next Slayer task. But hopefully it's something with alchables, because we now are short on cash. Might also do a farm run just to get rid of all these seeds. Before doing those installed heads though, I did go do the med clue we got from Dagonoth, so I actually pulled the wizard boots, which is kind of funny. I said that was like one of the 2 boots we could actually use, so I guess we have those now. So for the rest of the evening I just did some random Slayer tasks, not very interesting ones, got some Cal fights as you can see here, tried to kill the big ones with the safe spot, but it's just terrible XP because their defense is so high. A bit later on all our herbs were grown from before, so as you can see here, trying to make up all the toad flax into agility pots at the Grand Tree with the frogs up north. We also got a nice stack of Qualms ready for when we get that 55 Herblore and we can actually start making super strengths. 67 Slayer, nice level coming in. No new tasks unlocked at that level, but it's 1 level closer to the quest cape we need. Just 2 more levels, 69, and then we're done with our very, very basic minimum Slayer level. Hey guys, just taking a quick break from Slayer just for 1 second because I've just done some Herblore and we're 136 XP off 55. So what I'm doing is I'm just here at the Chaos Druids. I'm just going to get enough herbs literally just to clean them to get this 126 more XP, and then we can hit 55 and I can actually use this stack of noted Qualms that I've been gathering up, largely from seeds from Dagonoth tasks and things, and then I can turn these into super strengths and get some nice Herblore XP for those, as well as keep a few to use on melee tasks. Right, here we go guys, our little session of Herblore's over. Only had about 23 Limpworts from the various seeds I'd planted, so I made quite a few 4-dose super strengths and just noted them at the decanter over at the Grand Exchange, which is nice. Still on 55, no way we would have got anywhere near 56 from that. Probably need like 100 more super strength pots or something to get to 56, and obviously we do eventually need to get to 70, which is going to be really, really painful, but I'm hoping that if we continue to put all our lamps and XP rewards into Herblore, then eventually we'll reach a potion that's decently high XP per potion and also isn't too difficult to acquire. So I'm going to think about that a little bit more when we get a little bit closer to those Grandmaster quests. I'm just going to keep trucking away, making up any seeds or herbs we get as Slayer drops at the minute, and making just small progress as we go. And with some worm bones there, that's 58 prayer coming in, 2 more till we get 60, and we can technically use Chivalry once we've completed King's Ransom and the associated minigame afterwards, so that's good. Taking a little bit longer to do this task, because I am picking up every bone and just taking them home in between, instead of burying them on task, just to get that 125 prayer XP each which is really, really good. If I do that, then for a really long worm task like this at our level, it's almost an entire prayer level if I do offer all of them at home. So I think it is worth doing for the slower task completion. Straight back to it here, just safe spotting, so you don't need any supplies, as you can see. And then since we have the agility level for this shortcut, it's just a quick fairy ring back, and then we're back at Konar and the dungeon. So a really nice task to do here. Okay guys, another huge level coming in here at the worms. That is 75 range, thanks to all this crossbowing we'll be doing on task, and that's blowpipes and heavy ballistas. That's also the level for the Twisted Buckler and the Pegasian Boots, but I don't think we'll be getting either of those anytime soon. There's not actually any range gear coming up left that we're probably going to get before we get our quest cape. Maybe we'll get the range cape one day, but all the other stuff's all like raids gear at like tier 80 and stuff, so still got another 74 of these bad boys to do on this task. Having a good time. It's relatively chill. The XP's kind of slow because of how often we are leaving and how long it takes to set this little corner safe spot up with each kill, compared to something like a Hellhound or a Fire Giant where you just stand still and just bolt because they're melee. Going perfectly well here are the stats, I'm sure you've seen. Alright guys, we're just mid Hellhound task here. Got ourselves a hard clear that we've actually completed. No equipment steps, no wildy steps, so let's see what's inside this one. Ooh. A blessed D'hide shield. That's not the blessed piece I would have wanted, but we'll take that because I'm doing crossbow tasks now, so that's another 7 range bonus, which is super helpful on task. So here we are at Hellhounds getting 68 Slayer, so 1 more for quest cape. I've got to say, most of our tasks have been sort of like this, kind of reclined, standing in these safe spots, using broad bolts that we fletched ourselves by buying the unfinished bolt packs from Slayer Masters. Easy XP. On our first elf task here, interestingly, got assigned 77 elves by Steve or Neve or whatever it is. Since we've done Regicide, I guess we can be assigned these. Though we haven't done Morning's End 1 or Roving Elves, so we can't get to Letya and do the easy ones. So I guess really our only option is just to go up here to Ironworth Camp and kill the Ironworth Elves. Now they don't have the crystal teleport seed drop, obviously, that the ones in the Prif dungeon have. The drop's going to be terrible, but it is only 77, so we're just going to go over there with our Ivan's Blast, just take our D'hides off, find a nice little space to kill them. Here are the stats, 68 Slayer, and we've got 61,000 to earn to get to that 69 for the quest cape. So I'll just do this task real quick, guys, so it'll probably take like an hour or something, and then yeah, I'll pick up another one straight away and we'll see where we are. Cool, there's Elves complete. Really not a bad task at all. Took just under 700 casts to do that task. I'm just going to go recharge the Ibans. I've not done that yet on the account, but we're just under 800 charges out of the maximum 2,500, and we're so close to the back door of the underground pass, it'd be kind of silly to just not charge it now while we are here. So this is the way to recharge the staff for free. If you don't want to do this, if you're somehow incredibly lazy and incredibly rich, you can run back to the West Ardy guy who we initially got to charge this up and pay him, I think, another 200k to give it the max charges, which is just crazy. Really, even if you're a main, you shouldn't be paying for it. It's obviously you can go through the entire underground pass from the Ardy side if you really want to, but if you've done Regicide, then you can always take a charter ship or a ferry ring over to this end. Then it's just literally the top of this path here, there's a door and the well's just through there. It takes literally 2 minutes to come this way and charge your staff. So here's the well, we use our staff on it. And now if we just right click check, it should say that we have the full 2,500 charges once again, so that's really, really cool. Also probably buy some more broad bolt packs because we are at 50 broad bolts, and we do have a little bit of cash again, which is nice. And then depending what the task is and where the task is, we might make the bolts first if it's a range one. I am trying to range as many tasks as possible. If we get one more range level, which is only 5k XP, then we get another max hit with the crossbow setup, which is really nice. It'll be something like 22 without prayers. And obviously we are going to be relying on our range for quite a few of the upcoming Grandmaster quests. Dragon Slayer 2 specifically, we're killing pretty much all the bosses during that quest with a crossbow of some kind, so we want as much range as possible for that. And then obviously also Monkey Madness 2, the Gluff fight at the very end. We'll probably be using our crystal bow there, so we want as much range for that as well. Also still need to get our mage up, so it's good that we are incrementally doing a couple of Ivan's Blast tasks. They're just really, really expensive. Like I say, in that task we just did, we used like 700 runes, and that was a really short task. That's death runes, and they do cost a lot, so it's going to cost a lot of money to get to 75. But hopefully if we do get assigned some Dust Devils or something, then we can make the money back. In Alx, there it is, Dust Devils, called it straight up. That's awesome. So we don't need any broad bolts, which is good because we need our money for runes. So what I'll have to do now is run all the way down to the pyramid once again, swap our spellbook, probably go grab the monk's robes, probably also go to Lumbridge and grab the diary ring just to have the low alks on the ancient spellbook. Low alks obviously aren't the best, but there's no way we're going to be able to high alk. So I'm going to have to do some inventory cleanup. I'll go plant these seeds. Really, I should make up all these qualms to get rid of them as well. Got a lot to do before we go start this task, so I'll go just do some stuff and I'll clue you guys in as soon as the inventory's a little bit cleaner. Right guys, herbs planted, inventory slightly cleaned up. I think what I'm going to have to do now is just come here and kill like 200 hobgoblins or something, just to get enough limpwort roots to make all these super strength pots to get these qualms out my invent. Not really sure what I'm doing with these snapdragons. You can't actually turn them into potions till 63, which I guess I could boost to at 59. But that's kind of a long way off. I'll think about that while I'm doing this grind. But anyway, I'm just going to do the classic thing I did before when I was protecting teak trees. Just get a whole inventory of these limpwort roots over here at the hobgoblins. And then just run to the south and trade them into the leprechaun for banknotes. Just here at this bush patch. Just until I guess I get 54. Then I'll nip to the lighthouse, grab the noted vials as usual. And then head over to the Grand Exchange and probably just turn them all into super strengths. What I might actually do is make a couple of house teleports just with actual clay from the Remington mine, just so we can actually tally out after we're done. And then we'll grab ourselves some burst runes. We probably won't be able to do this full task of 150 dust devils with 200k, that's not going to be enough for the runes. If we do end up just running out of cash, then I guess I'll just kill them one at a time with melee or mage or range. We'll see when we get there. So yeah. Okay guys, we spent all our money on some runes, got our ancient staff, got some monk's robes for prayer bonus on our dust devil task, got 5,000 XP left, 256, which is nice. I did ditch the snapdragons, not going to lie to you. I'm not going to hang on to those for 8 levels before we can turn them into super restores. So what I'm doing right now is just scooting over to our lovely Chaos Druid Tower north of Ardy. Probably the best thing we unlocked on this account, honestly, the thieving level to get in there. I'm just going to get enough Ranors together for, say, maybe 4 prayer pots or something. Take those with us to this Slayer task, and then we'll do our first ever Dust Devil task on the account, hopefully get some nice things. Also, really looking forward to getting some Dust Runes as a drop. They have a really common drop of, I think, 200 Dust Runes at like a 1 in 12 or something. So hopefully from this task we'll stack up like 2k Dust Runes ideally. And then we can just keep those with us going forward, and they will act as both an air and an earth rune. So if we just carry dusts and laws, then we'll have access to a whole bunch of teleports with just 2 invent spaces, so we won't need to make any house tabs, which will be really nice. Okay guys, here we are at the Dust Devils with what looks like an inventory. Took a long time to get those Ranors. I also made some bronze darts, so hopefully if we really quickly can find a world, we can give this a go. I've also brought the Lumbridge ring, as you can see, just because that should give us the ability to do 30 low alks each day without the need of runes, or without the need of being on the normal spellbook, because obviously we're on ancients. So let's just gather up as many of these bad boys as we can, and then we just run between these 2 tiles, as you can see here. Quite a bad ping world, this one, so hopefully this isn't too difficult to do. Oh, it's turned my spell off for some reason when I hopped. Here we go, now it's burst time, so it seems like these have already been damaged as usual, but that's just the nature of playing any kind of Iron Man account. So yeah, this is how we're going to kill these. As you can see, there's more than 9 here in this clump, so it's not damaging all of them every cast, which just means that we're at maximum efficiency, which is really good. So let's see how long it takes us to do these 148 Dust Devils. Like I say, probably don't have enough runes to do the entire task in one go, but we will make a very good dent into it. Hopefully we'll get some of those dust runes, hopefully we'll get some nice alkables and make a little bit of money back. And it seems like we're also getting noted Addy bars, which is cool, but we can't actually utilise those till 70 smithing, so it's not super useful for us. So yeah, I'll just bang this task out, guys, just like this, picking up all the ones in the room with our darts, and then running them between these 2 marked squares so they stack on top of each other, and then using ancient spells to burst them down. Should be nice and efficient, so yeah, I'll let you guys know what happens at the end of the task. Hopefully we have more cash than we have now. As you can see, we're starting on like 9k coins, so yeah. Hey guys, just on that Dust Devil task, it was really good. It only took about 26 minutes or something to do 148. We did manage to do it with all the runes, still 141 more deaths left, so 70 more casts, and 4 full prayer pots was bang on the right amount, so that's really good. So we made ourselves a little bit of money back, as you can see, 200k coins after selling some of the junk and alking some of the stuff on task, as well as the coin drops, and we got a whole heap of runes which we can sell and probably top up our money kind of to what we had at the start before the task, so that's really good. We basically broke even, but we got a crazy amount of Slayer XP in a small amount of time. We got 19k from doing that task in like 20 minutes, so about 40k an hour, and we also got like nearly 50k mage XP from that task in like 20 odd minutes, so really, really good. About 140k mage XP an hour doing those. So what I want to do, I've just picked up a new task, just going to do Hellhounds as usual with the crossbow, because I'm really close to a level, and that unlocks another max hit for us. But what I'm going to do is go back to the nearest Slayer Master as well, make ourselves some more broad bolts, but while I'm there, I'm also going to unlock Extended Dust Devils, because it's probably the best task really in the game, all things considered. So just using up these noted myth bars I got here, as you know, we're slightly over 50 smithing, so we've got a couple of mithril items unlocked. So I just want to make sure that we get the 1000 smithing XP out of these 20 bars. It wasn't much, but worth picking up. Probably chuck some feathers on these bolts as well, just to get a little bit of fletching XP out of those. Then we'll go sell up whatever runes we don't need, make more bolts, unlock Extended Dust Devils, and then just carry on slaying. We are at 127 tasks in a row, so after 2 more, we'll go do a Konar task for 130 for those big old points. Good morning, guys. Here we are, still at Worms. As you can see there in the chat box, we just got ourselves 69 Slayer, which is the Slayer level required for Quest Cape, specifically I believe for Monkey Madness 2. So that's really good. Slayer is effectively complete for now. I mean, it's definitely not complete, let's be honest. Everyone loves a bit of Slayer. Got a ton more unlocks still to get. 1 more level will be Korask, 6 more levels for Gargoyles, things like that. Now what I have come across is a guide recently for doing the Giant's Foundry on an Ultimate Ironman to train smithing, so it may be that we don't need to go to 75 Slayer before getting our 70 smithing. Possible that we can go to various armor shops around the game, purchase pieces of armor, and then take them over to the Giant's Foundry minigame, and then use those in place of bars and smith them into giant swords for smithing XP. Supposedly it's also quite a cheap method. It's not the quickest method, but that's something I want to try. So I'm going to finish this task out, because obviously we do just have 5 worms left. And then when this task is done, I will do 1 quick Konar task more, because we will be on 130 tasks just after this one, so it will be worth it for a big boost of Slayer points for when we inevitably come back to Slayer at a later date. I'm just going to offer these bones, as I've been doing every time we've done a trip, and then we just run back. Then I'll grab a quick Konar task, we'll finish that today, and then we'll put a little pin in Slayer, I guess, for a bit. We'll do some quests, and we'll do a little bit of a skilling research, specifically smithing, but also the last few skills that we have left as well. Coming up to 60 prayer very soon, only 7.5k left, so at that point it will be worth going to do King's Ransom and the Night Waves training area afterwards, just to unlock Chivalry. We'll also unlock Piety, but obviously you can't use that one until 70 prayer, so maybe we'll get that if we get a good prayer XP task next. And then we'll take a little bit of a break, because we have been doing Slayer now for like 2 or 3 weeks, so yeah. Right guys, rather anticlimactically, we actually got Stronghold of Security Ankus, and only 50 of them. Currently have 124 points, I believe we get 90 for this, so we'll have 214 points. I want to take a bit of a chunk out of this list of remaining quests, because there's loads left with low requirements that we've not done. Still not done Creature of Fenkenstrain or Garden of Tranquility, Cold War, Slice of Ham, the new Goblin quest that comes after that, Grim Tales we can go do, King's Ransom we can go do, Porcine of Interest we can do now we're finished with Slayer, so we can unlock those rubbish pig tasks. We'll do Rag and Bone Man 1, I'm not sure what kind of Slayer level you need for 2. Just stuff like that, all the really, really easy ones. I just want to narrow down the remaining quests, because we do still have 67 quest points left to get, which is quite a lot. So I just want to get all the easy ones out of the way, just so we have a nice thin list showing all the big, difficult quests we have left. So yeah, just going to run in here, kill 50 Ankus real quick, and then yeah, on to more mischief. Hey guys, got ourselves a left skull half from these Ankus, as you can see. So it might be worth going backwards through the Stronghold of Security really quick and grabbing the other 3 parts. And just using the scepter to teleport once to Barbarian Village for the hard Varrock Diary. So I've just had a look at the Varrock Diary tasks, and honestly we can actually do all the hard ones now. We just can't do some of the mediums because we're missing Garden of Tranquility and Enlightened Journey quest, which are both quests we're going to do. So the Varrock Hard Diary is definitely achievable, and since this is the highest level enemy that drops a piece of the skull half, it'll be easy to just nip back up and grab the other 3 pieces after this task. So yeah, I'll do this task, got 25 more left. And then we'll finish this Skull Scepter, and then maybe we'll just have a look at some diary tasks or something around the game. See which ones we can complete, because we do need our Herblore higher. We do need to get our Herblore to 60, so that when we do Sins of the Father, we can put the quest reward book into Herblore, because you have to have your skill at level 60 to put that 45k XP in. So yeah, going to make the Skull Scepter and then have a look at some diaries, I guess. Hey, there we go, nice and dry on Catable Ponds, or whatever they're called. But we've got the top of our scepter. Also got a med clue from these guys, so I'll try and go do that. The best thing we can get from mediums is obviously one of the other kinds of boots, but we will eventually have to lose our PVM gear to do Enlightened Journey, so I'm not going to go after clues at this stage on the account. So there's the completed Skull Scepter, and in theory, if we just invoke this, that should be a Varrock Hard Diary step. And that's it. So let's get rid of that for now. That's all we needed it for. So yeah, we do have these stats and requirements for everything else all the way up to Varrock Hard, but we don't have those 3 things for Varrock Medium. So no point going after the rest of these right now. What we're going to do is go heal up, clear our invent up a little bit. I've got some noted ores. Just going to really quickly run over to Edgeville Furnace, just unnote these and make them into whatever. And then I'll just do as many quests as I can be bothered to do right now. So yeah. Okay guys, just took a little detour here to complete the Mauritania Easy Diary. I put the Scarecrow in the fire patch the other day. Killed a ghoul, I took a cowhide over to the tannery, got that tanned, cooked some thin snail on the range in town, which is what's just rotten here. And now we're just heading over to the grotto here, and we're going to recharge our prayer inside, and that should be the final thing for the Easy Diary. Yep, there we go. So now we just nip back to Canifis and we can get our reward, which is the Mauritania Legs one and a 2.5k XP lamp. Can't currently do the medium diary because it does require the Haunted Mine and the Lair of Tarn Razor Lore afterwards, neither of which we've completed quite yet, but we will do very, very soon. The rest of the requirements for the medium we will be able to do, so that's really cool. What we want to do is get the Mauritania Hard Diary done because it's probably the best diary in the game in terms of just rewards for a single diary. The Mauritania Legs give you unlimited teleports over to Berg de Rot. That's the town down here that you unlock during the vampire quests near Morton, and that'll be the easiest way for us to get over to Barrows until we have at least like 80 mage and we can boost and put a Barrows portal in our house. We also, with Mauritania Hard, get the Bone Crusher item, and we also get a bunch more runes when we actually do Barrows. So it's a really, really good diary to get done. For now, the Mauritania Legs only have 2 teleports a day over to the Ectofuntus, which is something. Just going to pop the lamp into Herblore. So that's Mauritania Easy done. While we're still in the diary mindset, I ran and completed the Fremennik Easy as well, popped the lamp from that one into Herblore, and that gives us 56 Herblore, which is really, really nice. Also, the Sea Boots one actually give us 1 daily teleport to Relica, so there's actually some use to doing the Easy Diary, so that's nice. Okay guys, here we are doing another Tears of Guthix. It's another week. There we are, 152 tears, which is kind of nice. We've got so many ticks just because of how many quests we have complete. That's a nice 9100 smithing XP, puts us super close to a level up. Only 87 XP off 54, which is good. Alright guys, just been doing some random Slayer, as you do. We've got 5 more Blood Bells left on this task, and I've got 5 heads. So if we kill these 5, then that will be task complete. We should be getting level 60 prayer from this one, which is absolutely monstrous. So now it's actually worth us going to do King's Ransom, so we'll add that to the to-do list. But yeah, really nice, really glad we've got this 72 plus mage, so we can actually reanimate these without a boost. It's so much less work than going all the way to Falador first to grab some beers from that pub. Wow, 78 range with 78 fire giants left. How zany. And I know I just said we'd go do some actual questing and make some work on our quest list, but sometimes I just do Slayer tasks when I'm not really in a position to record. If it's super late or if I've got loads of video backlog already to edit, I don't just want to add to that by recording more quests. And it's always very, very easy to just sit in a safe spot with a task like this and just bolt away with no supplies. We're getting 44,000 ranged XP an hour. Should probably get 80 at some stage if we carry on just casually doing Slayer between recordings. It's only a couple of hours per level at this point, which is really good. Right guys, so here I am over at Fossil Island Wyverns. Just got a cheeky wyvern task while not doing much else. Just nipped over to Sears Village with 4 coal and a pickaxe and a hammer, and we just remade the elemental shield that way. It only took about 2 minutes total, so it's entirely feasible to just remake this shield anytime we want to do this task. So that's good to know. We're just going to use ranged, going to just eat food and pray and hope for the best. They're kind of hard to kill. We're only killing honestly a couple per trip, and without our mounted dig site pendant yet from all those rubies, it's taking us quite a while to walk back. But anyway, yeah, getting a couple of kills each time, and these guys have some decent drops. They actually drop full prayer pots relatively commonly, and they also have a good drop rate for Ranar seeds, so it's a super good location to get prayer potions. Did a bit of the task last night and put some seeds in, and then we've come back today to continue the task, and we've just got a whole host of Ranors that we're going to turn into prayers, which is super good. So yeah, just going to do our normal thing here of doing some decanting and doing some potion making over at the Grand Exchange, because it is really the only feasible way to make multiple pots at once, because we can decant the rest down. Hey guys, here we are back at some Slayer, as we always are on this account, and with this Fire Giant death, that is actually 70 Slayer on the account, which is absolutely huge, one more level than we needed. So with that we unlock Korasks, which is an excellent task. We can damage those with the broad bolts we're already using. There's a bunch of safe spots, I believe, to kill those, and they drop a whole bunch of cool alkables, nature runes, and raw coins, which is kind of nice. The only downside is they're quite low weighting from all the high-level Slayer Masters. They've got like a weight of 2 or 3 or something, and then there's other tasks that have like weightings of like 8 or 9, so they're a bit rarer to see as an assignment, but hopefully we do see some of those because they are really good. Hey guys, once again ending off a task here with the Insold heads I picked up during the task. These Hellhound heads are 1200 prayer XP each, and with this one that's 61 prayer on the account, so 9 more for piety. Will be really nice to get to 70 eventually. Anyway, back to the Slayer. So because I'm a terrible person, I continued for a few more days to just do random lazy Slayer tasks. Finally pulled the 80 range we wanted from this one, just killing Calphites. And that's another max hit. I believe that's 23 range max hit with no boosts. I think with prayer it's something like 26, so it's really huge. And then also we finally pulled 71 Slayer just here on a worm task. Also along the way, cracked open a hard clue that we could complete. Didn't really get anything good apart from these dual sais, which are like a joke ninja weapon, but you know, it's something cool at least. And we also pulled a master clue, which I didn't expect we'd be able to do, and I was correct. We could very easily do the first step of this master clue, and then the second step was a mage that we did actually manage to beat, but then step 3 was the step that needs the Amulet of the Damned from Shades of Morton and the Arclight Sword, so we did have to drop that, sadly. Hey guys, another short break from the Slayer here, just to go to the farming guild, because I've got us an Avanto seed and that's our current farming contract. Just thought I'd mention that I've not really been doing hunter or farming at all since I've been powering through Slayer here. It's just that if I definitely know that I have a seed that is the one for our current farming contract, then I'll go plant it, just because there's really no reason not to. It also means I haven't been doing birdhouse runs, I haven't been getting Hespori seeds, so I've not really been killing Hespori either. Not making huge progress further on hunter or farming at the moment, but there's really no reason to not do farming contracts anyway, just because if you do crack those open you get like 5 different types of seeds and you normally get a couple of each, and sometimes they're fruit tree seeds, so the potential is quite a lot of XP from a seed pack if you just do one of these contracts. Hey you guys, just about to go do some Barbarian Assault. Just want to do one game all the way through, just to do 2 different diary tasks for I think the Kandarin area. There's one to do a single round of Barb Assault, and then there's one to complete a full game of 10 rounds and buy the Granite Torso. So I'm going to do both of those ideally if I can find a team today. Just while we don't have any runes or arrows on the account, because you can't get in here with runes or arrows, I've just sold all our runes, made a couple of backup house tabs, because we're just about to do a Dust Devil task. Got 221 Dust Devils here lined up, so I'm going to get a whole heap of Dust runes after this task that I don't really want to lose. So I want to just quickly get this Barbarian Assault diary out the way first, so hopefully someone will take us, and away we go. Hey guys, here we are at the end, in theory, of Barbarian Assault. Once this guy goes down, that should be one game. So thanks to all these randoms that I played with. So we did get the one diary thing to just play around right at the start, somewhere in the chat. So let's go upstairs now and purchase a Granite Torso from the rewards guy. So we use our 1 queen kill and 95k coins, and we just buy ourselves a Granite Body. Now this actually has really good range defense, and it looks super swole, right? It looks super cool, but I don't think it's one we're really going to use. But yeah, that's pretty much all the barb we have to do out of the way until Kandarin Elite, which is a long way down the tracks, probably after Questcape, honestly, where we need to get all our rolls to like level 5. Once again, guys, Dust Devils are just so good. And there's certain drops we can't really take, and for the alkables we have to use low alk with our Explorer's Ring 1. And we just got a superior while going over it, so that's even better. The magic XP is over 100k an hour. It'd be like 125k an hour if I didn't leave to buy more runes and unnote more potions and stuff, but yeah, it's just super good. So yeah, just gotta carry on with this task. If I get anything good from the superior, you'll see it. If not, you won't. So next up on the cards is to venture inside the Forthos dungeon in Hosidius in Zaya. Now inside here is where we get our grubby keys for the grubby chest. I'll talk about that a bit more later, but we can also do the In Search of Knowledge mini-quest, where we basically kill monsters in this dungeon and they randomly drop up to 12 pages. Once we have all 12, we turn them in, we get ourselves a nice XP lamp, which will obviously go in Herblore. Also in here, there's kind of a mini-activity that's not a quest or a mini-quest, and there's this demon guy inside that you can either trade some dragon stones to, or you can just kill him, and then you get access to a bone-burning altar in the middle of the dungeon. If we kill him, then we have to offer 100 dragon bones for it to switch on, but killing 100 baby dragons is so much quicker than finding 5 dragon stones somewhere, so I went ahead and just killed the guy. So with Albertus dead and his demon coin claimed, we go north through the dungeon past the undead druids, and we use this on a little surface in the wall which unlocks a tunnel through to a room in the centre, which contains the tannery and also the sacred bone burner, and a lever that we can pull to open this room permanently in future. To activate the bone burner and unlock its 3 times prayer XP boost, which is actually higher than our POH by the way, which is 2.5 times, we just have to offer 100 dragon bones or baby dragon bones, and there's some dragons next door that you can very easily safe spot, so I just killed 100 of those with range, just a combination of the two, and offered their bones. Once you've offered 100, then the altar powers up and starts offering its prayer XP, and once you've offered 200 baby dragon bones or above to this altar, you're also awarded the temple key, which fully unlocks all the doors here in the Forthos ruin, and then you never need to claim this key again, they just stay permanently unlocked, which is super good. It means we can enter this dungeon from any entrance and get to the grubby chest really easily. Just a quick aside here guys, somehow I managed to record the entire rest of this play session without the slight right hand edge of the game being captured. For the rest of the video, that side's going to be missing, sorry there's nothing I could do about it, but I don't know, just imagine it's there or something. Hey guys, so what's really good about this place is you don't actually need really any supplies. If you take a look at the screen, I've turned the monster aggression zone on. You can see by this red outline, hopefully. As long as you don't leave this red box, then the NPCs don't re-aggro you. And so with this aggro zone in this area, you can sneak by this one tile gap past these bots to recharge your prayer. And then you can go back to the dragon room once you've lost aggro, and the big ones won't attack you, which is great because we don't have anti-dragon protection, we die in one hit. We can walk through the door, offer the bones at the altar for the prayer XP and the progress towards the temple key, while we stack up the pages here, and we also don't lose aggro doing that, so we can go in and come back out. The whole time the dragons remain unaggroed. Then as soon as we get some of these pages for the In Search of Knowledge mini-quest that we are doing, then I can just stack them up. They stack with each other, so it only takes up to 3 invent spaces, but if that does get a little bit tight, then I can walk over to these bookshelves over here, and we can search them for the actual books that we're filling for the mini-quest, and then we can put the pages inside and just destroy the books. And it doesn't get rid of the pages you've already added, so we can just go back and find a new book at the bookshelf later. So once we have 12 pages in total, I think we're missing maybe 4 to 6 more pages, so we're probably more than halfway, and we have got 3 grubby keys. So if we get too many more grubby keys before we're finished with this mini-quest, we'll go crack those open, and then we'll have to come back and reset our aggro. But we are smashing it through our prayer. We've nearly got 62 in here. This could be a very viable method to get all the way to 70, but also staying here and camping these guys isn't really worth doing, I don't think, until we have the crafting level to make things out of these red dragon hides, which is 73 for the simple van braces or 75 for the legs. And just because there is a tanner in here, we could stack needles and threads in our indent, and we could craft an alk unlimited red dragon hide armor while we were in here. So it just seems like we should probably have that crafting level if we did decide to camp here for any elongated period of time. So I killed 200 dragons, I offered all their bones, got the key, opened all the doors, and also achieved all the pages for In Search of Knowledge at the same time as drops. And just to show here, there is actually a door from here into the Catacombs of Koren, which is how we initially got into this dungeon. Once you've been through this way once, you can go back and forward either direction. You can actually run through the Catacombs here, pop up through this hole, and then you can just end up in Hosidius if that's somehow useful to you. But anyway, yeah, I went to go check on the grubby chest, which I've yet to talk about. So the grubby chest is a chest just full of supplies, basically. You get keys at random from the monsters in here. Any of the monsters drop them at different drop rates, including the Seracnus boss. You can get sharks, egg potatoes, you can get supersets, you can get ranging pots, you can get brews, you can get restores. So the grubby chest could be good if we're, say, later on stuck on a Grandmaster quest boss, and we just need that little bit of extra high tier potionage to help us get through. So we got a superset, which is something. I don't really care about those, to be honest, but the 200 death runes is really nice. You always get one roll of like the valuables table, So that was 200 lore runes, as you can see, and we also got some Sarah brews and super restores, which is really good. Now I'm kind of just opening this chest here just to kind of test it, see what the drop rates are like, see the viability of coming back here later. Right gamers, we're done with our pages, I believe, so I'll just grab all the books, fill them up. Not a bad grind at all that, just a couple of hours. 2 hours today and a few hours last night. Let's donate these completed books. She's taken them all off us. Then we can speak to her, get the XP reward. And also what we should be able to do now is also turn the pages off. All they do after the mini quest is you can bring them back here and turn them in for 1k each, which I don't think is worth the time or energy. And they can't be alked, so we're just going to switch them off just so they don't clog up our drops in future when we go for further grubby keys. So let's chuck this bad boy straight into Herblore, and that should give us a level. And that should be 57 Herblore on the account, which is actually the level to fully complete Fairy Tale 2, so maybe we'll go run and do that now, and maybe look at some diaries to get further XP lamps into Herblore or something. So yeah, a really nice little grind that, the Forthos dungeon, really enjoyed the content. So guys, just off to finish the Candor in medium here, so I'm just going to go through the diaries that we're currently done and haven't done, just so you guys are caught up, because I don't think I point these out very much. The Ardy one, we've done everything up to medium except for travel in a hot air balloon, which requires Enlightened Journey, which we can't do right now. I'm only looking really to do mediums at the minute. I feel like a lot of the hards are kind of outside of our realm of doing them. Like this one's 65 Thieving, kill the Calphite Queen. Falador's definitely achievable. We could potentially do up to Falador hard. All we need to do for medium is light a lantern, telegrab some wine, which we can easily do, pray in full initiate, we've done the quest to unlock, mine some gold ore, we've got 40 mining and crafting so we can do that, and chop and burn some willow logs. I mean, that's barely even a medium diary. Some of those are like easy tier things, so that's really easy. We can go do that one. And then later doing the hard stuff, we do need that piety level. We also need to do Heroes Quest, which we're not doing until we're doing Dragon Slayer 1, so no point doing that one either. For Eminic Easy we've done the medium, we're just missing travel through the lighthouse to the Waterbirth Island dungeon, and also another step where we have to put our pet rock in our POH and take it out again, which I guess is technically storage, but I might end up making an exception for this just because it locks out so much content from further diaries, and it's not something that's going to benefit our account at all, literally just putting a rock on the floor and picking it back up. Like, if you guys have any input, let me know, but I feel like I'll probably just do that at some stage. Karend and Kebos, I believe we can probably do the medium now, not really looked too much into this one. A little bit of Hunter, use an agility shortcut, fix a crane with planks, and catch a single chin. We've done Eagle's Peak now, so we could definitely go do Karend medium as well. Not going to do any of the Wildy ones just yet. Maybe if we do a full reset on the account so we have no risk, then I'll look into maybe Wilderness Easy and maybe Medium. Western, we've already done Medium and Easy, as you may remember. We need to do some other stuff though. We need to do Swan Song and get 100 combat, as well as complete Roving Elves, 70 Mining, Morning Zen 1, Roving Elves again, and 75 Thieving. And also get a Zulrah kill, which is going to be really hard. So there's a ton of stuff in the Western Hard, which we can't really do yet, but we have done about half of them already, and we've done the most annoying one, potentially, which is the Chompy Bird hunting already, so that's cool. We'll definitely do Western Hard eventually. Let's just really quickly lockpick this chest, just for the diary that we came here to do, and that's Candor in medium, so we'll head back to the guy and just grab our lamp. Lumbridge and Draenor are generally quite low-level tasks. We're super close to doing Lumbridge medium. We only need to craft some lava runes, and then the hard is actually kind of close to being doable. The only issues are some of these runecraft ones, which require our full invent to be just full of essence and us to have a tiara equipped, so we might again have to look at those after we do Enlightened Journey and maybe do a full reset on our gear. We also need to do Mage Training Arena for that one, so that's a bit of a ways off. We also need to fully finish Recipe for Disaster, which we can't do till after Dragon Slayer, so we can't really do a lot of these ones in Lumbridge Hard, but we can definitely do medium. Mauritania medium, let's take a look at this one. Do one lap of a course, catch a lizard, do a game of Trouble Brewing. We can't do that until we sort of don't have items on us as well, so that's kind of not possible. And then Terror Dogs, we need to do a quest and a mini quest for that one, which we will do eventually. We'll do Haunted Mine because, you know, I don't mind getting Terror Dog tasks now because actually Steve/Neve, the Slayer Master that we are using, doesn't assign Terror Dogs anyway, so doing the quest to unlock them won't make a difference to our Slayer anymore, so that's really good. We've skipped past the Masters that can actually assign those. So yeah, we can definitely do Mauritania medium. Let's have a look at Hard. I know Hard needs 70 Prayer. It's one of the piety ones. But once we've done Haunted Mine and we have 70 Prayer, there's not a lot else that's really very difficult. Once we've done Piety, I think we'll surge towards doing Mauritania Hard because that's the quote-unquote the Barrows diary. But we'll probably do Barrows after we do a little reset Enlightened Journey and all those other tasks that need us to have no items first. Varrock Diary is the interesting one because we've done more of the hard tasks than we have the medium, but again the medium requires a bunch of stuff, including Enlightened Journey, taking the balloon, that we can't currently do. But yeah, a lot of the hard stuff doesn't look very difficult at all. Literally chop a yew and burn it, use one of the Desert Treasure tellies, and trade in a fur for a spottier cape, and then we've done with the hard diary. But mainly Enlightened Journey is sort of preventing us from doing about 2 or 3 diaries at this point, so a lot of them we're not going to be able to do until we do that first. I don't want to do Enlightened Journey until I also have the stats to complete both Monkey Madness 2, or at least to start Monkey Madness 2, because there's also an Intrana step in that quest. So I want to do both the Intrana quests at the same time, and also have the stats to do the Devious Minds quest, which largely takes place on Intrana as well. I want to sort of get to a position where we have the skills to do every Intrana quest, and do them in one fell swoop, potentially lose all our items, get all those out the way, including all the diary tasks that require us to not have any items on us, and then just sort of do a quick rebuild before we really set into progressing through gear, for example doing clues or doing barrows. I don't really want to get super set into getting super endgame gear quite yet. With that ramble aside, we've just completed the Kandarin Medium Diary. With this one we get the Headgear 2, which still acts as a light source, so it's no better than the Kandarin Headgear 1. We get some useless stuff like more XP from the maple trees in Sears Village, and faster spinning at the spinning wheel, which we're never going to use. And then also we get this nice lamp, which should be 7,500 Herblore XP, which is good. It's not going to be a level, but it's about 40% of a level at this point, so that's nice, trucking slowly onwards. So what I'll do is I'll get the items together to go complete Fairy Tale 2 now. We'll get that out of the way, then we'll look at the 2 diaries I think we could easily do. I think they were Korend and Lumbridge, maybe Falador Medium as well. If we can do 2 or 3 more diaries, then that'll be another Herblore level. And then if we also go do the Cave Goblin quest series, if we finish another slice of ham, we can take the train for the diary for Lumbridge, and then we can also go do the new Land of the Goblins quest, which, since it's a new quest, has OP XP rewards. It gives us 8,000 in our Herblore, so that'll push us probably towards 59 at that point. So let's go do all that stuff right now. Hey guys, just here doing Fairy Tale 2, or at least trying to. We're up to the part where we need to steal the Secateurs back from the Fairy Godfather, and I've failed the pickpocket and been thrown out of Xanaris 5 times in a row. I know you're supposed to do it when they're like not looking or something, and I've been doing that and it's still been failing randomly. I've done this quest so many times I don't remember ever having trouble with this or even being thrown out once, so I don't really know what's happening. So here we are, continuing with Fairy Tale 1. All we have to do now is go make a special Magic Essence potion in order to cure a queen, which is the title of the quest. So what you have to do is just head over here, wait a while. One of these flowers will spawn, then we'll grab it and just add it to our vial, and then we'll move on to the next part, which we need to go kill a Gorak on the Gorak Plain, which is another fairy ring location. Then we grab one of their claws, we crush it in our pestle and mortar, add it to this weird potion, then we literally just go back to the Fairy Queen and turn the quest in. So yeah, see you guys there, just wait for this flower here to grow. So we got ourselves a claw, which is always nice. Also a steel throne axe, which is kind of odd. Right, here it is, so we should just try not to drink this magic essence, but instead use it on the queen. Then she'll wake up and talk to us, and she'll go, la la la, thanks for saving me. Anyway, there it is, Fairy Tale 2, completely completed. Nothing really special with that one, like I say, just once we use this lamp, it will be a total of 6k Herblore XP, just from doing that quest, and it only really took a couple of minutes, so yeah, not too hard. Let's go do some diaries now, get some more tasty lamps, and put them into Herblore. Right guys, here we are at the fire altar, got ourselves the fire talisman, the earth talisman, and some earth runes. Got the talismans as last time from Oldak's chest, the Dorgish Khan thieving chest, and we failed to bind the runes. Okay guys, attempt number 2, got another talisman. There we go, there's some lavas, and that's the last thing for the Lumbridge Medium Diary, so we can go grab that now. Doesn't really give us very much, it upgrades the Lumbridge Ring 1 into the Ring 2, which has 3 daily teleports to the farming patch over near Falador, but we can get there relatively easily through our Draenor Manor portal in the house. And we also get a shortcut under the wall from Draenor to Port Sarim, but it's kind of worthless, so yeah, really no good rewards other than the 7,500 XP into Herblore, which pushes up to 58 now. We can make hunting mix and use the herb sack, which obviously we can't do. Getting closer and closer to 63 for super restores, which is really the next milestone level for our account, so right guys, next on our to-do list is to do the Korend and Kebos Medium. We've got ourselves all the items for the 4 tasks we have left. First thing is to catch a Chinchomper, so I brought 1 box trap, probably should have brought more, but then after that we need to go to Piscarilius, repair a crane, we need to catch a fish in Lake Mulch, and then we just need to do a boulder jump over near the Arceus Library rune crafting area. So really not that much we have to do, relatively easy stuff. And then for this we'll get another 7,500 XP lamp for our Herblore, which is always good. And then we also get a couple of decent unlocks with this one. The Rada's Blessing 2 actually I think has 1 prayer bonus instead of 0. So we'll get our first blessing on the account that we can equip with prayer bonus, which is nice. We also get a 5% chance to mine 2 essence blocks at once, which is good if you're making blood runes, for example. We also start getting some free dynamite from the Xerix Inferno Telly, where we can go do blast mine if we want to. And then we also get reduced tanning prices at the Tanner in the Forthos dungeon, so that's cool as well. So we can just talk to Elise and say, thank you, done everything, she'll give us our rewards, then we can equip that and do melee and stuff and mage and get 1 extra prayer, which is always good, and we can chuck a little thing into our Herblore and get about 1/3 of the way to the next level. So Herblore's looking good here. Hey gamers, we're back, it's Falador Diary time. Got a couple of items together to do some of the Falador Diary steps, but not all of them, because our inventory is a little bit tight at the minute. So first thing is to telegrab a wine here. This is what we'll be doing later down the line when we have 72 Herblore, and we can come get these as secondaries for our ranging pots. Next thing is we need to go burn some willows. As far as I'm aware, you can just chop one of these willows here next to the Lady of the Lake and just burn it here. I don't think the willow we've grown will count because it's not a naturally occurring Tavali tree. So we'll just do this one. Right, next up for Falador Medium is to pray at this here altar wearing full Initiate. As you can see, I've also purchased full Proselyte because there's a similar step for the Falador Hard Diary to go pray down in Port Sarim while wearing full Proselyte instead. Just need to go down to Rivington and light this bullseye lantern here. And then we also need to mine a piece of gold ore inside the crafting guild. So I just need to go grab a pickaxe, I'll go do those 2, and then we'll turn this in and get another medium lamp. Chuck it into Herblore as you may expect. And there we go, that's another diary down. Okay guys, we've Dorgish Khan tallied over to Dorgish Khan. I'm going to start another slice of ham now. We've got most of the things already together from just doing that Falador diary. Just need a light source, a tinderbox, and some Lumbridge tellies, and also some range gear, which obviously we already have equipped, so that's really cool. So with this quest, we stop Sigmund and the ham guys once and for all. There's not really that many good rewards for this. You get 3k mining and 3k prayer, but we do get access to the Dorgishan train that goes to Keldagrim. But we also need to do that for the Lumbridge Hard Diary, I believe it is. That's something at least. And the reason we're doing this now is because it does actually unlock the new Land of the Goblins quest for us. We do have all the other requirements, we just need to do this quest first, and then that quest gives us 8k Herblore XP. And so if we do this and Land of the Goblins, will be 59 Herblore. So I remember for this part you do have to do some archaeological digging on these train tracks. I think we need a couple of invent spaces free, so we dig up some artifacts from under the proposed tunnel that's going to be used for the new train track. We clear these up and we find one of them is an ancient Bandosian mace. And this at the end of the quest turns into the ancient mace, which is actually equipable and usable. Now we have Zanik following us, so we head to Dorgish Khan to talk to the Goblin Scribe. So we've talked about our artifacts to the Goblin Scribe, and he recommends we head over to Goblin Village to talk to the Goblin Generals, see if they can give us some more information. So what we can actually do is speak to Oldek here, and we can get a one-time teleport over to the Goblin Village. And then obviously when this quest's complete, we can unlock the ability to come here and make these Goblin Village spheres with lore runes, just like we would house teletabs in our house. So now we're at Goblin Village, we can just click out of this dialogue, go talk to the Goblin Generals, and then the ham members will actually do an assault on the Goblin Village as far as I'm aware. So there's a bunch of cutscenes, and this is why you need to bring either a mage or range switch for this quest, just because you do need to use a long-range combat style to fight off some ham members here. So we use our Elite Gaming skills here to tick perfect hop out and snipe these snipers, but unfortunately Sigmund is also here attacking Zanik. He teleports away with Zanik for some reason. So what we need to do next is head over to the Lumbridge Swamp in an effort to save her. So we should be able to just Lumbridge Telly. We have got our light source. What's nice about wearing the Slayer helm to literally everywhere is that we can just always pass through Slayer-related obstacles like the spiky hand guys in these Lumbridge Swamp Caves without really thinking about it, or running past things like Aberrant Spectres or Banshees, just because we always have the full Slayer protection on, which is nice. No longer need a light source down here once we've built this fire pit, once we've completed all the troll quest line, but we do need 72 mining and Swan Song to do that, so quite a ways off for now. So with these big hefty boys coming to help us save Zanik, we go down this newly unlocked secret ladder, we sneak through some ham tunnels under the Lumbridge Swamp to go and save Zanik. Hopefully we can just sprint by now. I'm sure that's not the way you're supposed to do this, but it kind of worked, so I'll take it. So what we need to do is equip the Ancient Mace, and we need to special attack this guy to turn off his protection prayers, and then once we've done that we can just diddle him, just like he's a regular enemy. Here we go, defeating Sigmund. He's only got 70 health, he's actually incredibly weak. So with him defeated, we really quickly untie Zanuck, and then with Zanuck saved, we dip out the way of the oncoming train. And that should really be quest complete already. Honestly, such a short quest, it was like 5 minutes. So that's it, another slice of ham. We've got ourselves the train, we got the Ancient Mace, we got the minuscule amounts of XP. And so what I'm going to do is just really quickly take the train, just for the, I think it's Lumbridge Hard Diary maybe. And there we go, that's a hard task complete, so that's really good. So now what I'll do is just have a look and see what we need for Land of the Goblins and where it starts. Just to start the quest off though, we just need a light source and no pet, so we can just head straight to Dorkshan Mines and immediately start Land of the Goblins. So that's what I'm going to do, and then probably piecemeal pick up the items we need as we go through the quest, because we do need a lot of different items during this quest. There's no way we'd be able to hold all of them. An assortment of different dyes, potions, pestle and mortars, fishing rod, raw slimy eels, combat gear, just loads of stuff. Right, here we are in the mines under Lumbridge. I just need to talk to Grubfoot here. Basically, this is a strange quest they ported over from RS3, where you make a potion to turn yourself into a goblin, and then you can gain access to a goblin city that's beneath the fishing guild in the cave where we fought the rock elemental during one small favour the other day. Kind of worthless to go in there after the quest, aside from doing the mini quest that comes after, but the mini quest is really hard, so we're not going to do that till way later on when we have better stats. But just for this quest, what we need to do is once again mess about with a bunch of goblin mail and different dyes. It's very reminiscent of the very initial goblin diplomacy free-to-play quest that you do. And we also need to do a little bit of herb lore. So basically, Grubfoot the Goblin tells us about a Land of the Goblins, which is the name of the quest. We basically have to find out if this Land of the Goblins is in fact real. And then we're prompted to enter the Goblin Temple beneath the Fishing Guild. Although to get in we have to look like a goblin, which requires us to go to the Makeover Mage near Falador, do a little bit of herb lore, turn ourselves into a goblin with a temporary potion, and then once we're deep inside we can talk to some ancient goblin spirits, learn about the Land of the Goblins, and then finally access it through a fairy ring, which is also the location of a clue scroll step nowadays, so that's also good. So Zanuck's allowed in because she's a goblin, obviously, but the bodyguards stop us from going inside because we are in fact a human. So what we need to do is head over to the Makeover Mage south of Falador. We need to get a bunch of stuff together for this. We need to grab ourselves a Toadflax potion and also a pestle and mortar. Now apparently the secondary is just a berry that grows right outside this person's house, which is really convenient. I did have a look and this is not a good potion for XP, sadly. Otherwise you could just come here with Toadflax pots and grab a ton of secondaries. So there is our potion. Now here's the big issue. No equipped items are allowed. We have quite a lot of items. Didn't look into this aspect of the quest. Now there's some that I wouldn't mind losing. The wizard boots I've been wanting to ditch for a long time. The amulet of power is retrievable, the Avas is retrievable, the rune gloves are retrievable. So if I get rid of those 4, that leaves us with 8 things I need to find an invent space for. Okay, time to alch some stuff. Wizard boots are going. They're only worth 200k, so I honestly can't be bothered to drop trade them. I guess if we don't need the light source for this portion of the quest, then technically we could ditch our light source and just grab a Kandarin helm later down the line during the quest when we need to come back in. But this one's going to be particularly tight, it seems. Right guys, so we've spoken to Witch Aggie about dye. We found out to make a white dye we need to get a special kind of fish called a Hemenster whitefish. But first, to get that we need to catch some slimy eels, and we'll use the eels themselves as the bait for the whitefish. So then probably take that to Aggie, get that turned into a white dye, and then we also need to find like 5 invent spaces for some other dyes, so I don't know what we're going to do here. Chances are we'll have to ditch some of our runes and maybe some of these potions. I mean, 2 doses of Super Restore, how useful is that for an invent space? Same with 6 doses of Brew, like it would be nice to stack those up, but so what we'll do is we'll scoot over to Camelot, head over to Hemenster, catch this whitefish, and then I'll attempt to make all the dyes we can. But yeah, I can get away with selling our runes and some of these pots. I just don't want to lose our dust runes or our prayer potions, really. Everything else, the other runes we can buy back, and the other potions I don't really care too much about. But yeah, I'll just grab us a couple of red berries here in Varrock, and then, like I say, get all the other items together for the other things that we do in fact need. Right guys, we're finally back at the Goblin Temple with a whole bunch of just rubbish in our invent, so we can just drink our goblin potion in full view of these goblins, and they see us transform into a goblin, but they don't care. So what I'm hoping in here is, since we'll be able to equip our goblin mail, hopefully as we go around these different rooms with our different disguises and pickpocket more keys, hopefully each time we go in we'll be using a die, so we'll essentially get the invent space back for the die that we use, so we can actually fit the key in. Otherwise we're going to have to start dropping more and more stuff. I've already been and sold our nature runes and ditched our super restore doses, so I guess next thing we'll be losing our fire runes and also our Saradomin brew doses. What I'm going to do is not take our mail off to be teleported out to the middle. Because our inventory's full, I feel like we'll be teleported out, but our mail will be on the floor inside, and we'll kind of soft lock ourselves, and that's the absolute last thing I want to do here. So we just go inside and we pickpocket the key from each of these priests, and then with one of each key we're able to open the door at the very back of this goblin temple here and progress further inside, where we can find out the location of the land of the goblins called Ubiusk. As you can see, it is kind of working out as I expected. We're using a die each time, but we're gaining a key each time. So there we go, that's another key. Next up is the purple one. It's really nice that there is a purple die spawn over near Ardy, because you use it for so many quests. And it would be so much effort to make a blue and a red die and mix them together if that spawn wasn't there. You may leave to gear up after unlocking it, that's good. So hopefully we're allowed to use our protection prayers in here. If so, then we should just be able to flick and get through all the bosses. There's no more messing about with keys because this door is now permanently unlocked going forward. So we're past kind of the difficult part, I think. All we need to do is just re-equip our gear. Now we know the names of all these goblin ghosts, we can summon them. So with each of these dead goblin generals that we do defeat, they offer us like one request for defeating them, and what we do is we ask them what the name of their predecessor was, and then we use that name to summon the next oldest goblin ghost. And then we go through, speak all of them until we speak to the very, very oldest goblin right at the end of the tomb here, and he obviously has the most knowledge about the ancient goblin lands. So we speak to him, then we find out how to get there. Turns out it's just a fairy ring code for us, the player, which is nice. Should probably be flicking now. I probably will have to leave to fight the last guy, because the last guy uses all 3 styles. But yeah, there's no way we're going to beat the last guy like this. But we beat the first 4, so that's okay. Okay, so what we'll do here is I'll just teleport out, go to the Warriors Guild, grab some combat potions and some food. Then we'll return, because now we have a full invent to mess about with. Back here for some goblin fighting shenanigans. I hope we can actually win this. I brought like the most supplies I actually could, but we're still very limited on space because we need to still unequip everything to get inside, so but it seems like we're doing okay, as long as he doesn't drain our stats too much. And now we can ask him about the land of the goblins, and he should give us our answers. So now all we need to do is go speak to Oldak. We talked to him about empowering the local fairy ring with one of his machines in order to fire us over to the goblin world of Ubiusk, i.e. the land of the goblins. Since he's the cave goblin inventor, he's created this machine to empower this fairy ring here, to give it more juice to send us to further lands. Now, once you've powered this and you've gone through the first time, you can get here from any fairy ring in the game. It's not just this special empowered one. If you do need to get back here for the clue step that's over here, really no other real reason to come back here at any point. So we take Zanik with us, and we go open this strange box. And then this is the very end of the quest. This was actually a lot more difficult than I expected, a lot more juggling, a lot of time spent gathering supplies and messing about, especially going back for dyes, making potions, having to drop some of our items. We will have to go get our Amulet of Power back, which is always a pain, because it's a fair bit of time at the Hamstoriums to get that back. The alternative, obviously, is just to equip our Xeric's Amulet to save a space, which we could do, but we do lose out on a fair bit of accuracy if we do that. Anyway, that is Land of the Goblins complete. Zanik gets captured by the spooky chest, so she's now gone until they port the next quest over, and that's 8,000 agility, herblore, thieving, and fishing. So there we go, 59 herblore. As expected, so we can now clean snapdragons, which is really, really cool, but we can't actually turn those into potions for 4 more levels, which is really stupid. But we're getting ever closer to the 63, I think it is, for super restores, so that's really nice. Another quest out of the way. Bit of a pain, that one, but we'll just go reclaim the stuff we lost now, and then we'll get back to more mischief. Right guys, and with that adventure over to the Land of the Goblins complete, I'm going to call this episode done here. Quite a lot of progress in this one, even though there's not a lot of visible stuff, only a handful of quests completed. We did do a whole lot of combat here, kind of skipped through quite a lot of it, but there was sort of 2 weeks of Slayer in this one, amongst all the questing and other messing about. We actually picked up 2 combat levels as well as 10 range levels. We got ourselves 1 strength level, 3 defense levels, 6 in our prayer, and actually surprisingly 3 in mage, putting us up to 74. So 1 one left for the Questcape level of 75, which is really, really nice. Managed to pick up 5 herblore levels throughout this video. Obviously we did a load of diaries, as you can see. I think we did 5 diaries in this one, as well as 2 quests with herblore rewards. So 59 herblore now, only 11 left for the Questcape. Slayer-wise, we did a whole bunch of Slayer in this one. We left off at 64 before, but we're actually 72 now. So we've actually unlocked Korasks and Skeletal Wyverns, both of which are amazing Slayer tasks. So hopefully we get a couple of those tasks going forward, get some GP and cool items, stuff like that. Now, as for the other skills we need left for the Questcape, we actually only need 16 more herblore levels, 12 mining levels which we can go grab at any time. We need 17 smithing levels, which I'm going to go try that Giant's Foundry method I was talking about, seeing if buying plate bodies and using those to make giant swords is a good way to get to 70. If not, we'll just wait till 75 Slayer and just do gargoyles. And then, yeah, outside of that, it's just one more mage level for the actual hard skill requirements we need for all the quests. Obviously, we need a bunch of skills up outside of that to help us actually do those quests. For example, 70 Prayer for Piety will help with some of the melee bosses, and then maybe we want a higher crafting level to make better gear. So yeah, really, really happy with the progress of this account so far. Really, really having fun with it. I hope you guys are too. If you enjoyed this video, obviously smash a like, and also if you want to, you can drop a comment. Specifically, I'd like to know your opinions on that Fremi diary step I mentioned about putting our pet rock in our house and taking it straight out again, which is currently limiting us from completing Fremenic Medium and above. If you guys have any input on that, whether we should be allowed to do that or not, let me know below, because I am interested. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one, whenever that is, so take care of yourselves and goodbye.